Question number 8, Stuart Nash.
Thank you. To the Minister of Police. Does she believe that the 9.3% resolution rate for burglaries last year is acceptable and meets the expectations of the community?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, no.
Supplementary question, Stuart Nash.
Well, in light of that, how can New Zealanders have confidence that police will be able to solve more crime when her own post-budget press release clearly states that 94% of extra money is going towards overdue wage increases and outlines nothing new for fighting crime?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, of course there was nothing about overdue wage increases. Police have been very well paid under this government. I have to say much better than they ever were under the previous government. And in fact, the police budget has grown from $1.26 billion a year in 2008 to now $1.6 billion a year, which actually equates to a 28% increase.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Stuart Nash.
In light of her answer to the first question, if she is expecting police to solve more property crime in 2015-16, what figure will meet her expectation?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
A substantial improvement.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Stuart Nash.
Isn't something wrong when the Mayor of Hastings has to spend up to $1 million per year on private security companies keeping his constituents safe due to a lack of police presence in his local community?
The
Speaker.
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, no, because there's always been a partnership between local government and central government around keeping communities safe. And in fact, it always has been, particularly when there was the previous government in place where we had to spend quite a lot of money in the Papakura district around safety.
Supplementary question, Derek Ball.
Did she or her office provide the Minister of Finance the data contained in his budget speech stating that crime had reduced by 16%? If so, does she stand by that advice?
The Honourable Judith Collins. Supplementary question, Derek Ball.
Did she mention to the Minister of Finance the fact that the number of incidents that police attend each year has in fact increased from 420,000 in 2008 to over 525,000 in 2015?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Not all instances are in fact evidence of a crime.
Supplementary question, Derek Ball.
Did she mention to the Minister of Finance that the number of cautions and other non-arrest outcomes every year has jumped from 340,000 in 2008 to over 450,000 in 2015? And is that a 16% reduction in crime?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, the member may not be aware that those are actually actions taken by police. They are not evidence of a crime. They are actions taken in resolution of an issue.
Question number 9,